The International Court of Justice, a symbol of hope and a beacon of fairness in a world often marred by conflict and injustice. This grand institution stands as a testament to the human spirit's unyielding quest for peace and resolution. A place for nations to settle disputes, a place for justice. Here, in these hallowed halls, the voices of the oppressed and the downtrodden find a platform. It is a sanctuary where the rule of law prevails over the rule of might. And right now, it's a courtroom where the fate of millions of Palestinian refugees hangs in the balance. These are people who have endured unimaginable hardships, their lives uprooted, their futures uncertain. They look to the ICJ for a glimmer of hope, a chance at justice. Pakistan, standing tall, is defending the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, better known as UNRWA. This is not just a diplomatic gesture, it is a moral imperative. Pakistan's stance is a beacon of solidarity with the Palestinian cause. This is an organization that, for decades, has been a lifeline for Palestinians. UNRWA has provided education to generations of children, giving them the tools to build a better future. It has offered healthcare, ensuring that the most vulnerable receive the care they need, providing education, healthcare, and essential services. These are not just services, they are lifelines. They are the threads that hold together the fabric of a community under siege. UNRWA's work is a testament to the resilience and strength of the Palestinian people. But UNRWA is under attack. Not just from the challenges of poverty and conflict, which are daily struggles for the people it serves, but from a more insidious threat. Not by poverty or conflict, though those are daily struggles. The real threat comes from political agendas that seek to undermine its mission and discredit its work. No, UNRWA is under attack by Israel. Israel, a country that loves to claim the moral high ground, has accused UNRWA of all sorts of things, bias, aiding militants, you name it. These accusations are not just baseless, they are a calculated attempt to delegitimize an organization that stands in the way of their narrative. Israel, a country that loves to claim the moral high ground, has accused UNRWA of all sorts of things, bias, aiding militants, you name it. These accusations are not just baseless, they are a calculated attempt to delegitimize an organization that stands in the way of their narrative. They're throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks. This is a strategy of distraction, a way to shift the focus from the real issues at hand. It is an attempt to rewrite history and obscure the truth. Why? Because Israel doesn't like the truth UNRWA represents, a truth that is inconvenient for a country built on the displacement of another people. UNRWA's existence is a reminder of the ongoing plight of the Palestinian people, a narrative that Israel would rather erase, a truth that is inconvenient for a country built on the displacement of another people. The historical footage of Palestinian displacement is a stark reminder of the injustices that have been inflicted upon them. It is a narrative that cannot be easily dismissed or forgotten. Pakistan is here to set the record straight, to stand up for justice and to ensure that the voices of the Palestinian people are heard. This is not just a legal battle, it is a fight for the very soul of humanity. To expose Israel's actions for what they are, a blatant attempt to erase the Palestinian narrative and deny their fundamental rights. This is a struggle for truth, for justice, and for the recognition of the Palestinian people's right to exist and thrive in their homeland. Let's talk about these accusations against UNRWA. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, or UNRWA, has been a lifeline for millions of Palestinian refugees since its establishment in 1949. However, it has also been the target of numerous allegations and accusations, particularly from the Israeli government. Israel claims UNRWA is biased against them. They argue that the agency's operations and educational materials promote anti-Israel sentiments and that its staff members are sympathetic to Palestinian militant groups. Specifically, Israel accuses UNRWA of being in cahoots with Hamas, the Palestinian militant organization that governs the Gaza Strip. They allege that UNRWA facilities are used to store weapons and that its resources are diverted to support terrorist activities. Essentially, Israel paints UNRWA as a terrorist organization in disguise, suggesting that it is more of a threat than a humanitarian agency. Sounds serious, right? Well, here's the thing. Israel can't back up its claims. Despite the gravity of these accusations, there is a significant lack of concrete evidence to support them. They launched an investigation, a fishing expedition really, hoping to find something, anything, to discredit UNRWA. This investigation was extensive, involving numerous resources and personnel, all aimed at uncovering any potential wrongdoing. And what did they find? A whole lot of nothing. Despite their best efforts, the investigation yielded no substantial evidence to support the claims against UNRWA. The UN conducted its own independent investigation into these allegations. This investigation was thorough and impartial, aimed at ensuring that the truth would come to light. The results? 10 out of 19 cases were completely baseless. Fabrications, if you will. These findings were documented and presented in a detailed report, highlighting the lack of evidence behind the accusations. The other 9? They need further review. This means that while there may be some areas that require additional scrutiny, the majority of the claims have already been debunked. This is what we call a smear campaign, folks. It's an attempt to tarnish the reputation of an organization that plays a crucial role in providing humanitarian aid to Palestinian refugees. Israel is trying to discredit UNRWA because they can't discredit the message. The agency's work is vital, and despite the disinformation campaign, it continues to provide essential services to those in need. So, if the accusations are bogus, what's the real issue Israel has with UNRWA? It's simple, really. Israel sees UNRWA as an obstacle to their ultimate goal, making the Palestinian refugee problem disappear. Not disappear as in finding a just solution, mind you. Disappear as in pretending it doesn't exist. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Israeli leaders have said it themselves. They want UNRWA gone, dismantled, erased. Why? Because UNRWA serves as a constant reminder of the Palestinian people's plight. A reminder of their right to return to the homes from which they were expelled. And that, my friends, is something Israel simply cannot abide. Israel's not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. And by walking I mean actively trying to cripple UNRWA. How? By cutting funding, of course, because nothing says we care about humanitarian aid like defunding the organizations that provide it. But wait, there's more. Israel is also placing restrictions on UNRWA's operations, making it harder for them to reach those in need, limiting their movements. Because why make life easier for an organization trying to alleviate suffering, and the cherry on top? Israel passed what they call anti-UNRWA laws. The goal? To expel UNRWA from East Jerusalem, because nothing says we respect international law like unilaterally deciding which organizations can operate where. Section 5. A humanitarian catastrophe unfolds. Now let's talk about Gaza. Imagine a place where over 2 million people are crammed into a tiny strip of land. A place under constant siege. A place where basic necessities are a luxury. That's Gaza. And Israel? They've made life there even more unbearable. Remember that ceasefire they agreed to? Yeah, about that. On March 17, 2025, Israel decided to break it. Because who needs peace when you can have violence, right? The result? Over 400 Palestinians dead. Mostly women and children. This is on top of the 50,000 Palestinians killed since 2023. But hey, who's counting? Section 6. When saving lives becomes a target. Israel's blockade of Gaza has turned the region into, well, an open-air prison. The people of Gaza are trapped, unable to leave, and their daily lives are a constant struggle for survival. The blockade has been in place for years, creating a dire situation that affects every aspect of life. Food, medicine, essential supplies, all restricted. The blockade has led to severe shortages, making it nearly impossible for families to get what they need. Hospitals are running out of medical supplies and stores have empty shelves. The lack of resources is pushing the population to the brink. People are starving, struggling to survive. Long lines for food are a common sight and malnutrition is rampant, especially among children. Families are forced to make heartbreaking choices every day, deciding between food, medicine, and other essentials. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions, and Israel is the architect. The blockade has created a situation where basic human rights are being denied, and the international community watches as the crisis deepens. The people of Gaza are living in a state of constant fear and uncertainty, and if that wasn't bad enough, they're targeting the very people trying to help. Aid workers, paramedics, and humanitarian organizations are under constant threat. Their efforts to provide relief are met with violence and hostility, making their already difficult job even more dangerous. On March 23, 2025, Israeli forces attacked a Red Crescent convoy. The convoy was on a mission to deliver much-needed medical supplies and aid to the people of Gaza. Instead, it became a target, and the consequences were devastating. 15 paramedics, people whose only crime was trying to save lives, were brutally murdered. These brave individuals put their lives on the line to help others, and they paid the ultimate price. Their deaths are a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who work in conflict zones, and to add insult to injury, they were buried in a mass grave. The lack of respect for their sacrifice is appalling. The families of these fallen heroes are left to mourn their loss, knowing that their loved ones were not given the dignity they deserved in death. Israel tried to cover it up, claiming the convoy was suspicious. They attempted to justify their actions by spreading false information, but the truth could not be hidden. The world needed to know what really happened, and the evidence was undeniable. But thankfully, a video recorded by a dying paramedic exposed their lies. This footage, captured in the final moments of the paramedic's life, revealed the true nature of the attack. It showed the world the brutality and inhumanity of the actions taken against those who were only trying to help. Section 7. Israel's legal house of cards. Israel's actions are not just morally reprehensible, they're illegal. We're not talking about some obscure laws here, we're talking about fundamental principles of international law. First, they're violating the UN Charter. Article 2, paragraph 5 clearly states that all member states must cooperate with the UN. Israel's refusal to cooperate with UNRWA? Yeah, that's a big no-no. Second, they're violating UN immunities, attacking UN staff and facilities, another big no-no. And let's not forget their illegal occupation of Palestinian territories. The ICJ has ruled on this, folks. Gaza, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, all illegally occupied. But Israel? They don't seem to care much for international law. Section 8. Pakistan's plea for justice. Pakistan comes before the ICJ not just to point fingers but to demand justice. We're calling on the ICJ to hold Israel accountable for its actions, to declare their attacks on UNRWA illegal, to order them to allow UNRWA to operate freely and to restore humanitarian access to Gaza. But this goes beyond UNRWA. This is about upholding the fundamental rights of the Palestinian people, the right to self-determination, the right to a life of dignity and freedom. Section 9. UNRWA, a pillar of hope, a testament to resilience. UNRWA is more than just an aid organization, it is a symbol of hope for millions of Palestinians, a testament to their resilience in the face of adversity. By standing up for UNRWA, Pakistan is standing up for the very principles of justice and humanity. The world is watching. The ICJ has a choice to make. Will they side with the oppressor or the oppressed? Will they uphold international law or allow it to be trampled upon? The future of Palestine, and indeed the very soul of the international community, hangs in the balance.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.